Ms. Corbeau, let me come to you first. With attacks hitting major Gulf gas facilities, for example, in Qatar, Ras Laffan, how badly could this hurt global supplies of liquefied natural gas, and what could it mean for example, heating and power costs around the world?
This is very significant because we have about 20% of the world global LNG flows which are going through the Strait of Hormuz. So this is already impacting gas prices all over the world, in particular in Asia, but also in Europe. And I mean, it's very important to understand that about 85 to 90% of the LNG which is transiting through the Strait of Hormuz, so mostly from Qatar, but also from the Emirates, is actually going to Asia. So China is impacted, but also India is very much impacted. This is the second largest importer of the Middle Eastern LNG, and about 60% of India's LNG imports are coming from the region. So India would be directly impacted.
Yeah. What about, Ms. Corbeau, alternate sources for India? For example, in the case of oil, there is this quote-unquote US permission for India to resume the import of oil. Now, as far as gas is concerned, do you see any alternatives for India?
Well, what you need to understand is that LNG facilities, they are usually operated at capacity. So there is no such thing as reserve capacity. However, it's worth noting that we have seen new facilities coming online in Canada, in the United States. So this is bringing additional LNG to the market, but at a relatively slow pace. So we were expecting in 2026 to have about 40 BCM additional LNG coming to the market. What we have lost, if I am taking into account the LNG from the Middle East, which is transiting through the Strait of Hormuz, and the Israeli gas that you mentioned coming from Leviathan, is 120 BCM. So the numbers are totally different, but these are annual numbers. Okay. So, I mean, we do hope that the situation is going to be solved before. When it comes to sanction LNG from Russia, there is a little bit of LNG, but this is very, very marginal. And actually, most of the LNG is coming to China. China is very much impacted by the crisis, even more than India. So probably China will want to keep these cargoes for itself.